Aloha, I'm Yanji Denise. Welcome to Get Your House in Order, where we help you take care of the things that matter most. In this series, we cover a wide range of topics from health and wellness to financial readiness and preparing for every phase of life. We are talking today about the importance of volunteering, how doing good can not only help others, but also help you. Paulette Ito, Senior Vice President at Hawaiian Financial Federal Credit, is joining me now. And Paulette, we think of Get Your House in Order as financial readiness. How does volunteering fit into that?
Well, everything goes hand in hand. When you're properly prepared and you got your house in order, your finances are in order, then you have time to free yourself up to be able to do the things that you want to do, things that you enjoy, such as volunteering.
Okay, and tell us a little bit about the wider Get Your House in Order campaign and the Ho'okele Guidebook.
The Ho'okele Guidebook is a roadmap to help you get your house in order, and we talk about the past, the present, and the future. The one that we have out right now is 1.4. It's a miscellaneous where we'll talk about different things such as volunteering, things that will help you, maybe pet ownership or getting married after a divorce. Very miscellaneous items that we put together. And you can get that at our credit union's website, hificu.com. GYHO.
Tell me a little bit about the feedback you're getting for this whole series. What are people telling you about how they're feeling after starting to get their house in order?
There are a lot of people who are saying you should have had this sooner because they really wanted to be able to have that for either their parents or to get that organized much earlier in life. But we're also finding that there are a lot of people who feel that it's a great resource for them. And it is kind of overwhelming to fill it out, but they say that it starts a good conversation with their family.
Yeah, well, it certainly has with mine. Thank you so much for being here. We're going to take a deep dive into the benefits of volunteering, how to choose the right cause, and the deep impact that just one person can make. But first, let's hear from someone who says they've gained so much by giving their time.
Aloha, my name is Eric from Riverside, California, and this is my story. I was stationed in Hawaii, and I wanted to find a way to give back to the community. I found Hugs Hawaii, and my first volunteer event was at Sunset Ranch at the Memorial Garden. I was inspired by the stories told of the Hugs families and the kids. Their resilience, strength, and heart inspired me to continue volunteering with Hugs Hawaii. I've done many different events with Hugs Hawaii, from respites to the Memorial Garden to the paddle out. Growing up, I had friends that had life-changing illnesses and were being helped by organizations like Make-A-Wish, but I found that their family was lacking support. And when I came to Hawaii and started volunteering with Hugs, that's a whole Hugs filled for the families. It was a lifetime support, and it was something I appreciated that I thought maybe other organizations weren't looking at, and it really drove me to want to help Hugs and Hugs Hawaii families. With Hugs Hawaii, I was able to find an organization that I really wanted to be a part of. I really encourage you to find an organization, something that drives you, something that gives back to the community. I found an organization I cared about. It drove me to bring my friends along. They still continue to volunteer with Hugs Hawaii. Hugs Hawaii has a small staff, and volunteers are an essential part of the program. They wouldn't be able to support Hawaii families without the help of volunteers, and I'm proud to be a part of that.
For all your money needs, Hawaiian Financial Federal Credit Union is here for you. Visit hificu.com. Bringing you what matters. Viewers can receive the Star Advertiser Digital Full Access subscription for $9.95 per month. Go to staradvertiser.com and click on subscribe. Use the code AHITHING.
Welcome back. We are joined now by Amy Morton-Sogi, Executive Director of Hugs Hawaii. Amy, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Tell us a little bit about Hugs, what HUGS stands for, and who are the families that you serve?
So HUGS stands for Help, Understanding, and Group Support. We're a local Hawaii-based nonprofit, and we've served families, children ages birth to 21 years old who have a variety of life-threatening medical conditions that can range from cancer to cardiac conditions, liver and kidney ailments, as well as chromosomal defects. All of our services are provided free of support, to our Hugs families. We were actually founded in 1982 by a group of volunteers at Unity Church. So
Wow.
We've been around for over 40 years.
And tell me, how do families find you?
So families can find us online through our website, hugshawaii.org. They are also referred to us through a number of different medical centers here locally, and they can receive a referral through their physician as well as through their case manager or social worker.
And what kind of services are you providing for them?
Hugs focuses largely on peer support. That is our main goal, is making sure families don't face their journey alone. So we provide support for each member of the family. And one of the really special things about Hugs is that we understand a serious childhood illness affects the entire family unit. So the child who is sick, of course, as well as their parents and siblings. So we offer peer support programs for moms and dads, as well as family events and respite nights. So we'll watch the children while parents have time to either have a date night or to just take some time to really reconnect as a family.
That must be so important and so meaningful for them. What kind of feedback do you get?
From the families is very positive. That at Hugs we really focus on joy, bringing hope to our families, providing a space for them to feel comforted and that they aren't alone in their journey. So providing that network of connections for our families is very important.
Now, the broader focus of our program today is volunteerism and volunteering. How important are volunteers for you to run your organization?
Volunteers really are an integral part of Hugs. We have only 7 full-time staff members, but we serve 350 families throughout the state, and that equates to about 1,600 family members. So that includes the Hugs child, as well as their siblings and their parents and caregivers. So we always say that while our families are the heart of Hugs, our volunteers are really the heartbeat, and they keep our organization going. We couldn't provide these services for our families without our volunteers.
What kind of roles do the volunteers play?
The volunteers really can play any type of role that their skills may be a good fit for. So they can help directly with some of our family programs, which I have mentioned. If they're more comfortable doing maybe office work, they're welcome to come and help us within our Hugs house, which is located in Kaimuki. They can help provide TLC to our Hugs house, where we hold many of our events, as well as even make birthday cards for our Hugs kids that we send out every month.
And with the volunteers, when someone's looking to volunteer with an organization like yours, how do you screen volunteers? How do you figure out what's a good place for them, how many hours they need to give, things like that?
So we have all of our volunteer opportunities available online. If you go to hugshawaii.org/volunteer, or you can just go to our main site, hugshawaii.org. At the top of the page, there's a link to get involved, and we have all of the information available there. So there's no specific skill set that we're really looking for, because we have so many volunteer opportunities available. We're very flexible as far as finding an opportunity that will fit with the individual volunteer skill set.
Oh, fantastic. And so when someone goes through your organization and they actually become a volunteer, what kind of feedback do you get from them?
The feedback is all very positive. They feel that it's a very inspirational and meaningful opportunity for them as well. We actually recently got an email just this past week from a volunteer who had come to our family events about 5 years ago and said it was one of the most inspirational events in his life, and he's now 5 years later, out of school, out of college, wants to come back to Hugs and volunteer again. So while we ask our volunteers to provide 10 hours of volunteer work within a 6-month period, most of our volunteers do come back to many of our different events.
Fantastic. Our conversation will continue with Amy in just a moment. We'll talk about finding the right fit when it comes to finding a volunteer opportunity for you. Stay with us. You're watching Get Your House in Order.
Hugs. Hugs stands for Help, Understanding, and Group Support. Hugs is a local Hawaii-based grassroots nonprofit organization supporting families with seriously ill children from birth to 21 years of age. Hugs services. Families are usually referred to Hugs by medical centers. Hugs recognizes that caring for a seriously ill child will affect every family member, so peer support services are provided for all. The Hugs House provides parents with respite evenings together. Hugs services include hospital visitations, flight assistance, and case management. All services are provided at no cost to the affected families. Volunteers. There are only 7 full-time Hugs staff serving over 350 families in Hawaii. Volunteers are vital to the delivery of much-needed services. Volunteers can choose a role that best fits their skills. Opportunities are available online at www.hugshawaii.org with all of the relevant information. Volunteers often return finding meaning and inspiration in the rewarding experience of having a positive impact on others.
Pacific Spray Wash is Oahu's #1 trusted exterior cleaning service. We deliver a spotless job for all your pressure washing, roof cleaning, house washing, and solar panel cleaning.
Welcome back. We are speaking today with Amy Morton-Sogi of Hugs Hawaii, which helps families who are going through difficult circumstances due to childhood illness in their lives. Now, Amy, I know you run this incredible organization, but you yourself also volunteer outside of Hugs. Tell us why you do that.
I think it's very important to give back to the community, especially to causes that are very meaningful to an individual. This is why I also volunteer or work with Hugs. I was born with a congenital heart defect and I had open heart surgery when I was very young. So the volunteer work that I do, as well as the work that I do with Hugs, I find very personally meaningful to use my lived experience to really help families in their journey so they don't feel so alone.
When you were experiencing that at such a young age, did volunteers make an impact in your life?
I was quite young when I did have my first open heart surgery. I was only about a year old. So I don't recall too much from that. I did have a second procedure done when I was 22 years old, and I do recall some volunteers visiting me in the hospital, as well as the nurses who sat with me each day while I was hospitalized, yes.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, that kind of exchange, that kind of kindness, it really can make such an impact. Tell us again about the families that you're helping to assist at every level, what kind of an impact the volunteers are making.
Really, the volunteers are providing that extra layer of comfort to our families. So within Hugs, we do have these peer support programs, which are aimed at helping our families make connections with each other. We notice that many of our Hugs families who've been with the organization for a while can help the newer families who come in, especially when they receive the initial diagnosis. There's a lot of stress involved in those early days. They're maybe not sure what to do. There's a lot of anxiety, depression, many different types of emotions. So we have our Hugs families who are able to support our newer families that come in, and then seeing our volunteers in the community really come around these families and provide that extra layer of comfort to them. So the families do find that very impactful as well, just to see the broader community wanting to step in and help and support them.
You know, we asked you on today because you have the unique perspective of screening volunteers and actually being a volunteer. When someone is heading out there and they have maybe an organization they admire or something, a cause they'd like to give back to, how would you suggest they go about starting to engage an organization, maybe Hugs or maybe another one, to try to start to volunteer?
I think the volunteer process for each organization is going to be very individual to that organization. So with Hugs, again, you can visit our website. All of our volunteer opportunities are available there, as well as the volunteer forms that are required. We ask that all of our volunteers be at least 15 years of age or older. And again, for any organization, that screening process is going to be a bit different. And we ask that our volunteers really just find something that they're passionate about in a way that they want to give back, and to find an organization that aligns with their values.
Yeah, I think that is so important. And it's interesting when you're talking about the families who are then helping other families, it's almost as if they're doing volunteer work as well.
Right, so we do see that people can find, many of our families find meaning in their that difficult journey and their child's illness by giving back to other families, and being able to feel that there is something positive that can come out of that experience.
Yeah. Tell us about in your own life when you are doing the volunteer work that you do. You know, for people who are watching, why would you encourage them to volunteer? What does it do for you personally when you're spending that time giving back to others?
There really is that meaning and that heart in it, and that passion to be able to support others, find that kind of meaning in life. Or maybe sometimes in the day-to-day we get a bit lost, I think, and finding I'm sitting at my computer, returning emails, doing dishes when I get home, that maybe I can get lost in that day-to-day shuffle. So when I'm volunteering, it helps me to really step outside of that and to find meaning and purpose in something larger in giving back.
Do you find that there is a shortage of volunteers? Do you need more people to help out?
Sure, we always are looking for volunteers. We do support so many different families and across the entire state. So we look for volunteers to do our ongoing monthly programs, as well as volunteers for special events. And we will also look for people who can help us do different types of drives as well. So we do toy drives around the holidays, back to school supply drive, which we just completed, as well as Hawaiian Miles drives, which is something we're really asking the community to help us with right now, as many of our families are flying out of state for medical care.
Oh, that's wonderful. Okay. Well, thank you so much. We're going to continue our conversation after this quick break. Stay with us.
Impacts of volunteers. Peer support programs help new families cope with the initial stress, while community volunteers provide an extra layer of support. Starting the process. The volunteer process will differ for each organization. Volunteers should always find organizations that are aligned with their values. Prospective HUGS volunteers should be at least 15 years of age. Volunteers are especially important during back-to-school supply drives and toy drives during the holidays. Hawaiian Miles drives are also very important, as many families must fly out of state for medical care. Volunteer opportunities and forms available on the HUGS website at www.hugshawaii.org. Evolving needs. HUGS supports families from initial diagnosis to age 21. A family's needs will change over time, so their case management program ensures a family's needs are being met. Visit www.hugshawaii.org to find out how you can support your community while possibly adding more meaning to your life.
See Dr. Oda at HEC Medical Clinic Honolulu Specialist in laser weight loss. You can see the change losing 1 to 2 inches instantly. For all your money needs, Hawaiian Financial Federal Credit Union is here for you. Visit hificu.com.
Welcome back. We are speaking today with Amy Morton-Sogi, Executive Director of HUGS Hawaii. And Amy, what I love about your organization is that it truly is local. You are not affiliated necessarily with any kind of national group. You truly are Hawaii born and raised. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so we are a fully Hawaii-based organization. We were founded here in 1982 by a group of volunteers at Unity Church. So we serve families across the entire state. But we are fully locally based, so all the funds that we receive as donations, as well as the volunteer hours, do stay here in Hawaii to help local families.
And tell us a little bit more about what makes your organization unique. I know there are a lot of groups out there that do a lot of good work for children, especially children who are facing medical difficulties, but what makes HUGS unique?
The HUGS really focuses on taking this comprehensive and integrated approach to helping our families. This is why we provide support programs and services to each family member. And everything is provided at no cost to our families, so we rely very much on the community to step in and to help us both with the funding as well as the volunteer hours to ensure that as an organization that we can continue our mission and support our families. And we are very focused on that peer support model, which is unique to HUGS, and having the other families really step in to support our newer families who are going through those initial stages of their diagnosis.
Yeah, and I would imagine that in those initial stages, it does have, it feels like a crisis. It is a crisis. Mm-hmm. As the families stay with you over time, how do their needs change? Because I know you said you support families from initial diagnosis all the way until their children are fully adults.
Right, so we support families from when their children are initially diagnosed, which can be from birth all the way through age 21. So it really depends on where that individual family is in their journey, and we spend a lot of time at HUGS ensuring that we are meeting individual family needs. So if some of our families do have higher needs, we also have a case management program, so we can provide financial assistance as well as food baskets, diapers, and for families who are in the hospital, we provide hospital visitations as well. So as our children hopefully get better, go into remission, they maybe need less services from HUGS. It might just be a call once a month to check in and ask how they're doing. And some of our families who are actively in treatment will be getting maybe more financial support from us, the hospital visitations, additional services that they may need at that time.
When we were talking about volunteering, I think some people may be intimidated by the volunteer process. Perhaps they found an organization that they're passionate about, but they think, I just don't have enough time. Is there sort of a minimum time commitment that you need to make? I know it's individually, organization specific, but generally, do we all basically have time to do this? Or do you need to have, 20 hours in the month, or how does that work?
With HUGS, we don't have any specific requirement as far as time, just that we ask as much as possible to volunteer 10 hours within a 6-month period. but how you split up that 10 hours is up to you. So if you say, okay, I only have 1 hour once a week to come in and I'll help make birthday cards for kids 1 hour a week, then that would be fantastic. And we're very flexible as an organization as far as accommodating the needs of our volunteers. So if you'd like to come in again for 1 hour, maybe make food baskets, if you can help at one event per month, that's fantastic. Whatever fits into your schedule, we're able to accommodate.
10 hours every 6 months seems pretty manageable for most of us. But what kind of a difference does that 10 hours mean for an organization like yours?
All of our programs are largely volunteer-led. We only have 7 full-time staff. We are get overwhelmed with the number of families that we manage. So each of our programs, for example, respite that we had several weeks ago, we have over 30 volunteers who come to each program, and all of our children are matched one-on-one with a big buddy. So we do rely on those volunteers to help us manage each of those monthly programs.
A lot of this is about building community. I would imagine that the volunteers also find community amongst each other.
They do. We do notice that quite a lot in Hugs, which is really nice that our volunteers stay with us long term, so they do develop their own family within Hugs. So we do consider ourselves to be a very large Hugs ohana. And I think that is something that's very important and that our volunteers do find within our organization as well.
So for folks who want to learn more or perhaps want to volunteer, where should they go?
Visit our website, please, hugshawaii.org. You can also email us at info@hugshawaii.org as well, or to call our main office line during business hours, and we can direct you to our volunteer coordinator, and he'll provide training for you. It's available either online or in person. So however anybody may want to get involved, and whatever your skill set is or your passion is, we're able to find a place for you within the organization.
Well, thank you for coming in, and thank you for all the work that you do.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching. Remember, you can always watch this show again by finding us on YouTube or listen as a podcast wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Yanji Denise. Until next time, take care and aloha.